Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Triple Jump podcast. It's a video game.
Oh,
For
sorry.
God's sake,
I was
podcast.
going to gesture towards the tree.
My name is Ben.
My name is Peter.
And my name is Ashton.
We have just, by which I mean yesterday, opened all of our tab. You can tell by the way we use our walks and also our voices that we're a little bit tired because it was a mammoth session because you were all so incredibly generous.
So generous.
So generous. 6.5 hours.
You'll see we've got
a little bit of generosity on screen right now.
some
if you're watching
Christmas
on YouTube.
decorations.
We've got sent a tree
around.
with some bourbons and some special decks.
Custom bourbons from.
See yours on the tree. It might just be because it's around the back or something. So don't
And
worry.
it looks small.
Doesn't
on
mean that
camera.
It also looks like the perspective looks like my microphone goes into the tree.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
like
doesn't
that David Cameron clip where the news reporter goes, well, I don't know why I was talking to a tree.
Yes. This is one of the few things that we will be showing off pre-release of the TAT video because obviously we don't want to spoil anything. So if you have sent stuff to us, there was only one thing that didn't come through. We only got one slip. So well done, everybody. One slip asking for additional postage and stuff. So we will show it off. We will decorate our set and so on, the streaming area, probably in the new year with all of our new stuff. We got new friends and things, but this will be just because it's Christmas related. Obviously, we want to show this now. So thank you to everyone on the Discord who took part in this secret tree decorating endeavor.
What a great idea.
This is our video game podcast, though, and each and every week we're sponsored by a very real video game adjacent sponsor. Ashton, you have the ad read this week.
I do.
It is on your hand.
It's written on my hand. I woke up this morning and someone had written it on my hand.
That's weird.
I haven't quite figured out how I'm going to... There's a couple of just random things on here, so we're just going to go with however the mood takes us.
Eggs.
Yeah, pretty much.
When you say that, you mean there is a full professional signed, sealed, and delivered ad read on your hand. Okay.
There's a QR code that when you scan it, it puts bitcoins into
There's
our
not
company
random
wallet.
words. You're not going to make this up on the spot.
No.
What's the ad read, Ashton?
The ad read is, of course, we're coming towards the end of the year. It's the Christmas season. We've had Black Friday, but that's not all that happens.
You're not even reading that in your hand. How did you do that?
Memory.
You're just glancing down like really fast.
It's gone into my skin.
Yeah.
And I've
you
just
absorbed it
the
into your
idea
brain.
Of the ad read.
That's
brilliant.
Cool. That's why you got the hat on. Otherwise, your head would swell up.
Yeah.
See
My
it.
full forehead is just bright, like pen blue. Right
Okay.
now.
Wow.
Anyway, as I was saying.
Merry Christmas.
Can you go to Dulux and get pen blue for your wall?
Anyway, we're coming to the end of the year now, and I don't know if everyone's seen, but PlayStation are doing a little something for gamers, a little end of the year sale. But they've got a little subcategory of their end of year sale that's called. Oh, no, I'm going to do the games first.
Okay.
That has got such games on it as Mulled Cyberpunk,
Oh.
AC Vodkala,
Sorry, say that again.
AC Assassin's Creed,
Yeah.
Vodkala.
Vodka being
Vodka.
synonymous with Christmas, of course. Yeah.
You've got Doom Bar,
Okay.
you know.
That's a drink.
and you've also got, in the spirit of things,
In the spirit.
Ratchet and Clink.
Oh, that's good.
It's, of course, the PlayStation end of beer sale.
Oh, wow.
Oh, okay. That made more sense.
Beer is
Why not?
over. You have to drink all these things instead.
Yeah.
And Assassin's Creed Vodkala, of course, fitting into the end of beer sale.
Yep.
Because the beer's over, right?
Yeah,
So
well,
they're not only
it's
selling
just
beer that's
end of-
discounted, but
it's end of beer, but like, all alcohol's welcome.
all alcohol is welcome. We
Yeah,
all
no.
want to be alcoholists.
At Christmas, you don't just drink beer; you drink all alcohols.
Was
if
it
you're
also
of age.
completely unintentional that you said in the spirit of things?
No.
No.
I can see it. It says it on her hand.
Yes. It's
Clink in the spirit of things. Clink.
Clink, ratchet, and clink.
That's amazing. I can't wait to buy all of those discount alcohols.
Well, unfortunately, you can't because it's not real.
You're a filthy liar.
I wrote this
How
on
dare you?
myself.
Ruined Christmas.
That's disgusting. No, we're not sponsored by the end of beer sale. For some reason, the PlayStation end of beer sale. We are, in fact, sponsored by our wonderful patrons over at patreon.com/Team TripleJump, where for as little as $1 per month, you can submit questions to this show. And very soon, we'll be opening up sort of our Game of the Year discussion. We'll be doing our first show back in January, as always, our Game of the Year show. So keep an eye on the Patreon if you would like to contribute to that and vote and have your voice heard, so to speak, because we'll be running through our Games of the Years and also the Patreon voted Game of the Year as well. The top 5, that
I've
is.
got a couple of games I need to play over Christmas in case I want to include them.
Got to do homework. You got to cram. But there's loads of other rewards and tiers available. Weirdest games ever early, worst games ever early, the After Dark podcast, the sort of Discord game afternoon night sessions that you can do with us.
Party
loads
play.
of stuff. And also, of course, something we don't talk about very often. If we get, how many patrons was it? 1,000? I can't remember how many patrons.
2,000.
2,000. I'm going to say 2,000 patrons. Citation needed. We will host BillyCon, and everyone can come to some sort of TripleJump convention.
Can we not just have Rubicon instead?
Rubicon.
That
Well,
would
we've
be
already
better.
got Rubicon though.
Okay.
We have Rubicon. We have BillyCon
We
at
have
home.
Rubicon at home.
There it is. It's Rubicon. So do consider going to patreon.com/Team TripleJump and supporting us there if you can.
Thanks.
You can also push.
Peter.
So
Peter.
popular.
Come
You
on.
can also support us, of course, by going to triplejump.com/ No, not that.
No.
Facebook.com/
Team
Team
Oh
TripleJump.
my god.
Facebook.com/Team
Team
TripleJump.
Do you see how last week why I read it off the podcast?
I do
thing?
now. It doesn't even say it, just says Triple Jump Facebook. I think that's what confused me.
Oh,
What I'm saying is it's your
TripleJump.facebook.com. It's not that. Please go and follow us on Facebook. If we get 10,000 followers, we can monetize our content. We will not stop asking until we get there. So please help us. Thank you.
thanks.
It's time to answer some careful baubles questions. It's from Samuel Benson. Hello, Bap.
Hello.
Hello.
What are some of your winter comfort games? Thanks, Samuel. Good
Thank you,
question.
Samuel.
Thanks,
Good
Samuel.
question.
I have various films on TV shows that I go to every year and as a ritual watch them. But I don't have any games that I always would say I'm going to play this at Christmas or every winter. However, I have brought a couple of games that I know would, suit that best for me, that mood. Little Inferno.
Yeah.
I streamed 2 years ago now, I think, just before lockdown. I don't know when it was, but it was a Christmas stream. that I
Winter
did.
2019.
Winter stream, yeah. And that is, by its very design, a cozy, Christmassy game. Well, it's not Christmassy, but it's snowing outside and everyone's just huddled around their fires, burning things. And there are a few Christmassy things that you can burn, actually, little elves and toys and things like that. So, just burn.
Are the elves alive?
Burns, yeah, I think they
Okay,
are. I think when you
okay,
burn them, they start going or stuff
That's
like that.
classic elf behavior.
Yeah.
It is. Other than that, though, if I really wanted to get into a cozy, perhaps Christmassy, wintry spirit, I'd probably just play some old PS1 games that reminded me of my childhood because, it's all kind of synonymous and nostalgic and warm and cozy. So, you'd cash me on my Spyros and my Cash Bandicoots probably, and maybe some other stuff too. But that sort of thing would make me feel very warm and cozy at Christmas and winter.
Oh, that's lovely.
Oh,
Ashley?
nice. Yeah, like you, I don't have any specific games that I go back to every winter, but a vibe of a game is normally one of two things. Either I play a game that is wintry in nature, so the first part of Horizon Zero Dawn or some of The Last of Us come to mind, and because that's the vibe that I'm experiencing outside. It's snowing today, which is very exciting.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it
recording.
has snowed. It's not snowing anymore.
I can't feel my fingers in this room.
Or alternatively, I'll play a game that's in a hot climate to make me feel warm inside and remember what it's like when it wasn't the winter times anymore. So things like Far Cry 6 is all obviously a tropical island, which is very different to what we're experiencing in England at the moment.
Yeah.
But I like it because I'm the sun. Imagine swimming in that nice blue ocean under the beach.
And
the
occasionally
nice
walking on
sun.
top of it and then being under, and then
Yeah.
you sort of oscillate
Maybe,
between the two.
getting blown up by a rocket launcher
Yeah,
sometimes.
getting hit by a boat. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like that bit in The
So
Simpsons where
nice.
the heating's gone in the church and Reverend Lovejoy is describing hell to everyone, going, burning pits of sulfur, and they're all going, oh.
Sounds lovely.
Yeah. But yeah, those are probably the kind of games I'll play. It was funny how you play games that are kind of weather dependent, I think, because when it is really hot, like we were saying during the summer, you don't really want to play a game that's really hot in nature because you're already sweating your balls off.
Yeah.
So, yeah, those are the games I play. What about you, Ben?
I'll tell you, Ashton, thanks for asking.
That's okay.
I don't really have a sort of go-to warm, cozy game. I do replay games, but not specific ones at specific times of year necessarily. If I were to go with a wintry themed game, though, that I do like to have a dabble in every so often, what I remember, it's the Borderlands 2 expansion, Marcus Saves Mercenary Day.
Oh, yeah.
Which is like the little Christmas themed. It's got Tiny Timothy or whatever the rip-off is, the legally distinct Tiny Tim. And you just go around this little perfect Christmas town and you...
Fight some snowmans?
You kill snowmans. And you save the day for the townsfolk. And it's sort of about maybe an hour and 20 minutes long. It's not that long at all, but it's so lovely. It's such a lovely little game. And it's even got a raid boss in it where you fight a giant snowman, dangerous snowman. But I do like that a lot. That's more of just what are your favorite Christmas games, though. I don't necessarily have a winter comfort game. I'll just be playing whatever is on my plate at the time.
Yeah.
Do you have a general comfort game, like a game that you will go to just kind of like when you don't know
I mean,
what else
even
to
then,
play?
because I thought about that, I was like, well, what would I just go to for any comfort? But I mean, again, I think like just playing something that you know that you love is obviously an easy thing to do. But you know, we talk enough about what are your favorite games on this podcast enough. So other than the obvious, I don't know if I've got something that I would turn to in that sense.
Yeah.
Apart from just going back and playing some of the big ones for me. We've all got our fabs. What about you? Have you got one?
I don't think so either. I think it is just, I'd probably play Borderlands. Quite like going back to that and just running around in it for a bit, depending on. I don't really like having to start a game again, though. That's my only thing. If it's a game that I've kind of got partway through and I can kind of jump in the middle, that's fine. But I'm not really a big fan of like starting again because I always find the opening part of most games just tedious. So if I've half finished a game and then left it and then I keep going back to kind of like tidy things up at the end, then I kind of enjoy that more than jumping back into a fresh game.
Thinking about a game, actually, I wouldn't necessarily consider one of my all-time favorites, but that I do find very sort of comforting. I would say Oblivion, actually. If I had to play something that would make me feel a bit warm and cozy, maybe that. My Spotify Unwrapped, apparently my second favorite genre of all time, this year, is medieval.
Oh.
And that's
Great.
because I've been listening to the Oblivion and Skyrim soundtracks. But first I was like, what? It hadn't named any songs yet that were in that genre. I was like, I've not been listening to medieval. What the hell? And then it was like, oh, Jeremy Soule, you've been listening to a lot of. I was like,
yes, famed medieval musician Jeremy Soule. That is weirdly one of the games that I am more than happy to start over and over again. Same with most Borderlands games, to be honest. I love starting certain games, and then when I've played for about 4 or 5 hours, I start thinking, I can't be asked anymore.
Yeah.
I like creating my character and getting set up. Same with Pokemon as well. I'll happily start a new Pokemon game and then just sort of get tired and bored after a while.
Especially I think in the probably Borderlands as well, but in something like Oblivion, you value items a lot more. Like when you a steel sword.
Gotta steal this.
Whereas when you're a bit more up there and you're picking up all these decent steel daggers and stuff, and you're like, oh, screw this, don't need this anymore.
Yeah, what a
Iron
waste of
arrows, get out of here.
I would. Borderlands is very much a comfort game for me, though. That's one that I just go back to over and over and over again. In fact, I've been playing some Borderlands this week. I want to talk about that.
I forgot I play The Sims quite a lot as well.
Yeah.
So that's probably one that I'd go to. Just muck around and build a house for a bit. And then when the house doesn't turn out how I want it to, then I just stop playing and just delete the house.
And all the people in it.
Yeah. Sorry about it.
Just Thanosing
Hate
out
you.
all of these
You're not
sentient
perfect.
beings.
You're making me more sad.
You're
off.
Between us, we have just changed this question into what games do you start and then just stop playing. But
Samuel Benson knew that, though.
Yeah.
He knew. He incepted that in our minds.
Thank you, Samuel.
Thanks, Samuel.
But I think it's time to do a segment we've never, ever done before. We're starting it for the Christmas season.
Oh.
It's, of course, What We Playin.
It's what we play in time. Time to talk about what we play. Peter, what you play?
I was at my parents' house for a few days and did not play games because they do not have a games console.
Oh, rubbish.
Boring.
How did you
Ugh,
survive?
Gross.
Just went up on their really old, like Windows 8 computer and played
Gross.
like pinball.
Oh.
No, I didn't do that. I spent time with the family. That's even worse.
A really old Windows 8 computer.
Since I got home, I have played some more GTA 3, and I played a little bit of Vice City as well. I've not actually finished GTA 3, but I thought, I'm willing to
You're having your dessert before your vegetables,
crossover a little bit.
Peter.
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm enjoying it. But Jesus, I spent one night. It took me like 2 hours to do 2 missions on GTA 3 because they were really hard. And I think mostly because of the kind of rubbish controls and slightly bad game design that has not aged well. So there's one where in Staunton Island, the second island of the 3, there are, throughout the game, there are payphones where you can answer the phone and people give you missions over the phone. And there's this guy who's part of the Yardie gang, and he says, there's a car that I left some like merchandise in and I needed to go and get it. I don't know if it was like a
TripleJumpShop.com
or TripleJump t-shirt. So you go there and there's a car in this car park, and when you get in it, these vans pull up and block all the exits, and then it says, oh no, spanked up madmen. Spank being the drug in GTA 3.
Right.
Okay.
And then
Spank.
all of these guys run at you with like TNT jackets, and they're all going, ha, 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 come here, ha, 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 and they try and blow you up.
Jesus.
And if you're lucky, you'll survive one explosion, and then the second one will kill you. Or if you're unlucky, one explosion will kill you. So you have to get out of the car, and you have to shoot all of these guys before they get you. But also, the vans are constantly spawning new exploding guys. So what you actually have to do is blow up the 3 vans.
Right.
But it's difficult to blow up the 3 vans because you're constantly having to run away from these guys who move at almost the same speed as you. And if they get within about 6 meters of you, they will blow up and pretty much insta-kill you. It took me like an hour to do that mission over and over. And the reset to it is awful because it takes you back to the payphone and you have to drive all the way to the car park again every single time. So most of the time was just spent driving.
Christ.
And then I did the next mission on my actual doing missions for bosses, like the main story. And I don't remember which one that was, but again, that took me about an hour just because it was not actually very well designed. And I had to like attack a load of people, but every time I attacked one of them, my star rating went up because I'm killing people in the street, and the police are like, "What are you doing?" So
Stop doing that.
Hey, stop.
You know that's not okay.
So while I'm
Stop
trying to do this
now.
objective and like take out all these baddies, I've got like 4 stars, and like almost, well, it's not quite the army come after you, but like sort of special forces, the FBI, I think, come after you, which is very frustrating. But I am still somehow enjoying it.
Okay.
And I think
Okay.
it still is purely just that kind of throwback, like, oh yeah, I remember this when I was a kid. So very heavily relies on that, this game, I would say. So still don't recommend it.
I heard there was a patch to help alleviate how awful the rain was. It's either in 3 or Vice City. Is the rain that bad? Like,
The rain
is it just
is-
hard to see. or
The
what is
rain
it?
looks a lot better now. Yeah, I noticed it change. That's a good thing that they've done.
Okay.
but-
What was the rain like?
So there's 2 problems with the rain, and I can't think off the top of my head whether problem number 2 has been addressed. But problem number 1 is that it was really quite big raindrops, and they weren't transparent or translucent. They were basically just thick white blobs
Right.
falling down, and like really thick. So they just get all up in your grill, and you can't see what you're doing or where you're going. And the second issue with it was, it didn't hinder you, but it just looked like absolute crap. Like the rain ripples on the street, the texture of that, a little animated texture, is a tile of about not even a meter square. So you just see this like tiled looping effect as far as the eye can see.
Wow.
It looked worse than the original version of the game. Like it's like something from the PS1 era. This horrible tiled ripple effect. You just see the same tile. Like wallpaper on your. You can see the loop point on your grandma's wall. It's just like that, but
rain.
It's like rain and like a tiny square
So
before
it's
it starts
fire
looping
spreading
again.
in Minecraft.
Yeah.
Just little cubes of fire.
Yeah, pretty much.
Excellent.
So yeah, that looked pretty awful, but they have fixed that, which is good.
Good.
It should never have been like that in the first place. So yeah, that's what I've been playing.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
Ashton.
I've been playing more Far Cry 6.
No way.
Yeah, I've almost finished it. I think I'm at like the final. I'm at the point now where it goes, this will change everything.
Oh.
Have you done everything you want to do? And I'm like, no, still got some side missions. But I've been really enjoying it, and I can't stop myself playing it. Just keep going back to it every single night. It is not a good game. It doesn't work properly most of the time. There's the worst missions, and actually weirdly, this last area, they've started doing this thing they've not done for the rest of the game, where they're like, in this general area, there are 11 of this thing. We'll send you a picture of it. Just run around until you find them. And there was about 3 story missions that made you do that. And then also a Yaren story, which is like the side quest, that also makes you do that. It's like in Esperanza, there's some statues. Go and find them and vandalize them. They look like this. They are scattered all over this area. Have fun. And it tells you that there's like 12 of them, and then you just have to run around until you find them. And even if you don't have to get really, really close to them for them to like give you the mission icon. Like they don't just kind of in your vicinity, if you see one, it doesn't just automatically come up with like, there it is, go over there. So they're annoying. And also all of the follow missions where you have to follow someone just don't work. There's one mission where I had to follow a dog, and the dog like ran out of the area that I was following it. So I followed it, and then it just ran back and forth in this small little area for like 5 minutes. And I was just waiting for it to like go somewhere else, and it didn't. So I had to kill myself to start the mission like that bit again so that the dog would run off. And the dog ran like 50 meters. I could like see where it was going once it had already like set off and actually worked. And I was like, why did you make me follow this goddamn dog? So annoying. But it does it a lot. There'll be like characters that you have to follow that just don't go where they're supposed to go, or you need them to follow you and they'll just stand still.
Yeah, I have actually had to murder good people.
Yeah, you kill them and then you revive them and then they'll go. Yeah,
they'll
it
do
does
what
that
they
a
need
lot.
to.
But yeah, I'm almost finished it now. I've done all of the like bases, all of the extra things that they do on the map. There's a couple of things where it's like you have to get trophies. I haven't been actively trying to get trophies, but if there's ones I know I can get, then I have been doing them. Like get an FND base silently. Managed to do that one finally. But I didn't manage to do the other FND base one, so that's annoying. Sorry, bless you. But yeah, I think I'm almost about to finish it now. So then I have to play something else. Life is Strange.
Life is Strange. Play Life is Strange.
And yeah, but I've enjoyed it, but it is wonky. Indeed.
How's Giancarlo Esposito? Is he well?
Yeah, fine, yeah.
You
I haven't
think
seen
you're
him
gonna kill
very often. I haven't killed him yet, but I think
Almost
that's
like
what...
he wasn't paid enough to be in the game.
Yeah, almost like they built the entire
much?
game around
Him.
Well, they built the entire
marketing.
advertising.
Yeah, well, every time you like... So there's obviously every area has its boss that you have to like kill. And every time you kill one of them, you get a little cutscene with him and his son.
Menacing,
where he's doing something menacing. And it doesn't happen very often. There's like 7 or 8 enemies maybe 6 actually. 6 enemies in the game that after you kill them, it gives you the cutscene. There's like 6 cutscenes. And then there's a couple where it's like a story mission where it's like maybe another couple of ones with him. You only interact directly with him so far in the game in one cutscene.
At the start.
Danny. Oh, no. You don't interrupt him at the start of the game.
You're on that boat, remember?
Oh,
At the
two
very start, which
cutscenes.
was in the E3.
Yeah,
that
there's
was
the
in
boat
already.
one, and then there's another story mission like halfway through the game where you interact with him again directly.
Barely in it.
He's barely in it. Obviously, his voice is constantly on all of like the speakers and stuff, so you hear his voice most of the time doing the same speech over and over again. But
I think we all could have predicted this though. Like
Yeah.
there was no way that this brilliant actor was going to be in this game for more than maybe an hour tops.
But the issue is that Far Cry is built around its villains, or it's famous for its.
They've been
iconic
chasing the High of
villains.
Vaz for
Yeah.
nearly a decade now.
So you kind of not necessarily think, but hope that like, they'll go for that kind of thing again. And so I think there was an unrealistic expectation from some people to think like, oh, here we go, it's your Far Cry villain.
But your hopes get up every time. Pagan Min, voiced by Troy
Yeah.
Baker, very exciting. I didn't play 5, but people like Joseph Seeds, they thought he was pretty good.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've not done it. They've
Yeah.
not done it justice.
we finished the Vast DLC, like the main part of it. They want you to do it like at 5 different difficulty levels, but you
Right.
don't have to.
5 different difficulty levels.
But it's even at like level 5. I didn't do it, but MB did, and he said it was like not even hard
Oh, okay.
because you'd already unlocked like all of the weapons and upgraded them, and you
right, yeah.
can carry over your like abilities and stuff that you unlock over the game. So it isn't actually that hard, but once you've done it once, you don't really want to have to do it again.
No.
There's no variety in it. Everything's in the same place for every go round you do it. So nothing really changes other than how difficult it is per level. But yeah, it's fun for like a couple of hours. It took us like 2.5, 3 hours to finish it. So yeah, it was all right. If you've got it, I mean, you should play it. But
Yeah.
if you are going to buy it because it's got Vars in it, maybe don't bother.
Maybe not.
Yeah.
I'll have to give that
Also,
game
they
some
kind
thought.
of sorry.
All three of us spoke
Sorry.
at the same time then.
Sorry. They also kind of hint that Vas and Joseph from the 5th one are in the same universe. Like it's happening at the same time, because in one of the visions that you see of him, he's watching a video that I'm pretty sure was the bad guy from 5 doing a speech.
Okay.
But we never, like, it's kind of weird that all these things happening in the same world. Like, this world's messed up.
Yeah.
But I mean,
Very chaotic.
yeah. That's the last thing I
It's
have to
Far
say.
Cry 6. I've also enjoyed my time with Far Cry 6, but I agree. I don't think it's very good. And I think it's going to be a long time before we see another Far Cry game. And I don't think it'll look like this. It'll probably be very different. Was that what you played?
Yeah.
You okay?
said- yeah.
Yeah, you sound a bit sad about it.
Sorry.
It's all right. I don't apologise. Just checking you're okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm great.
Dan, so good. Okay. What did you have for breakfast?
Reese's peanut butter cup.
Right. Okay.
One.
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 The rest are on the
About
floor. I had one, then I
half
thought,
an hour ago.
no.
It's not good for
Yeah.
me.
You know
should
what?
have done this.
This already hurts.
Yeah.
I have played some of the Tiny Tina's Wonderlands one-shot, Tiny Tina's Assault on Dragon
Keep.
Yes, that's what it's called. It's got a ridiculously long name. It's the D&D inspired DLC from Borderlands 2, but they've released it as a standalone thing at a budget price. It's like £8. And you can just play it from start to finish just on its own. And the way that they make it work is that you have to create a new character, level 1, but every time you level up, you get 2 skill points instead of 1.
Do you play as the characters from Borderlands 2 in
Yes.
it? Okay.
You do, yeah.
Yeah.
So you just get access to the usual roster of characters. But they've just sort of made it work in
On its own.
well, yeah, but like in sort of the most screw it, that'll do kind of way possible. So you get a grenade mod for the first time for your level 1 character, and suddenly Claptrap, who you have not met in this one shot, just gets piped in, and it's his audio from the main game. So new players, which is unlikely, to be honest, that you got new players coming in, will just hit like, who's this guy? I thought I'm going to be in a D&D campaign, and there's this robot man who's telling me about so they've just sort of forced it to be standalone by taking elements from the main game and sort of making it work. But I've been playing it with some friends, and it's fun. And I've played through this one before,
I was going to
but
say, have you played it before?
I was sort of sprinting through it and not really listening to the dialogue. So I'm trying to smell the roses and appreciated a bit more, especially if it's seemingly very much the basis for this new Wonderland.
It's the best DLC for Borderlands 2 by a long shot.
Apart from Marcus Saves Mercenary.
Well,
Game,
yeah,
course,
but I
which
mean
is-
that's not a DLC though.
It was like just a seasonal story.
seasonal
They did a
thing,
Halloween
isn't it?
one as well,
Yeah,
didn't they?
and a Valentine's Day one as well.
Yes, they did. They did. Yeah, it was really, really good. And I'm looking forward to playing more. And if you want it, you can get it. It's got its own platinum and it's super cheap. And you can play 4-player online co-op. Although weirdly, I don't know if you had this as well with the original one. I don't know if you can remember. But the cutscenes are like super compressed. So the little cutscene that precedes the game, so not the actual, because there's very rarely cutscenes in Borderlands.
Yeah.
But the one that sets up the actual
Apart
game,
from the 3. Because
there's loads in
of
3.
cutscenes in 3.
the one that sets up the thing is like
Really?
yeah,
can't
it sounds
really
really
remember,
awful. Like
but-
they lost all the original files,
Yeah.
and so they've
Sort
just
of rip it.
They've just had to rip it from the PS3 version and put it in the Handsome collection, and then they've just ripped this out of the Handsome collection. It feels like it's got lower and lower quality each time, but as an experience, it's there and it's good. So you can give that a try if you want. I played a little bit of Resident Evil 6, the best Resident Evil game, playing through that again in co-op. That's fun. Played some Battlefield 2042 last night. Man, I don't really like Battlefield 2042
You
or
don't?
Battlefield in general. No,
Oh,
not
okay.
really. No, it's just, I don't think there's any matchmaking going on at all. I am exclusively immediately murdered again and again by people like 40 times my level, literally. Who have snipers and they've got like taglines like Battlefield Legend or something. And it's
Right.
just, why am I being matched with these gods? I can't do this. And then there's the learning curve of, and I know that I play a lot more Call of Duty than I have done Battlefield in the past. But the menus are different and the way it controls is slightly different. So I find that when I'm aiming down my gun sights, there seems to be like it's all or nothing when you're aiming with the right stick. So when I'm trying to track someone at distance and fire at them, I'll just be going whoa, and it's like this feels weird, and I can't do it. And it takes ages to unlock sights for your guns. So I'm there aiming with my LMG with iron sights at like this orange speck in the distance. Meanwhile, someone on PC 300 yards away who's level 70 just shoots me in the head. I spawn while someone's bombing past with a helicopter and I die again immediately. I don't know. I don't enjoy it, but it still has the occasional sort of Battlefield magic.
Yeah.
Like you'll be losing and then one of your guys manages to capture a point on the other side of the map. Everyone decides to spawn there and you start pushing back across. And so the momentum like completely swings back in your favor. So there's good stuff about it. But as someone who's not sort of a Battlefield veteran, so to speak, it certainly seems to be not going down so well with fans of Battlefield anyway. And then on top of that, I'm not very good at it, and I'm not having a good introduction to this game by just being murdered again and again and again.
I never understand why games like that don't bother putting in skill-based matchmaking. I just categorically do not understand, because there's no way that you can catch up with them. There's no way.
Yeah.
It's like Call of Duty wasn't very good for it way back when, but like why not? Give us something.
It's a funny thing, really, that that's two games there, Far Cry and Battlefield, that as a franchise, that you sort of hear their names and think, oh yeah, those are big successful franchises, but both of their recent games are sort of not doing that well, relatively speaking, within their core audience. It's true, like a lot of people who are Battlefield fans aren't really enjoying this latest one, by all accounts, or by some accounts.
By some accounts.
Yeah.
However, the other thing I've been playing is Deathloop, which I
Yes.
borrowed from Cultaholics Owen Mawson. Thank you, Owen. And I started off really disliking this game because, again, it's a lot to learn. And there are so many tutorials. It feels like every time you go into sort of the in-between separate parts of the day before it loops back around again, menu, for the first maybe 15 times you're in there's a pop-up explaining something different to you, and there's a lot. And you start off with nothing, but it doesn't take too long before you're able to start spending currency you earn during one day or one loop on saving weapons and saving upgrades. And then as you start to go through, you're untouchable. Like you'll just sprint through things, murdering everyone that you want to, sort of blinking out of sight and disappearing because it's Dishonored, essentially. It's just Dishonored. I think the guy who plays Colt and Juliana are fantastic. I think this was Colt's, the voice actor for Colt's first video game role as well. Brilliant. I think the world that they've created is so interesting, and it's kept vague enough that you can explore all the nooks and crannies and find details and like little tidbits that explain a bit more about this weird island and this world that you're in, and why these people are here and why you need to kill them, and Colt's mysterious past and stuff like that. And while things do come to light and you do learn what's going on vaguely, the ending is not good, and it just sort of finishes and then there's credits, and that was really unsatisfying for me personally. And I messaged Owen about it as well, and he said he felt exactly the same.
I think Fraser agreed as well.
It's a shame. It just sort of finishes, and that really is a shame, because I did go between seeing glimpses of brilliance and hating it to begin with to actually really liking it by the time the game was finishing. But yeah, I think they've made a really special game here, and it's really good, but it's again a lot like, perhaps not as much as with Returnal, but because of its roguelike elements, it's not going to be for everyone at all. Like it's going to that first few hours where I was really having a tough time, I think so many people will have or will bounce off it at that point, and not sort of persist. But it's very good, but it's also a roguelike. So you have to bear that in mind. And it's also extremely cheap at the moment. So if you were thinking of giving it a go, now's probably the time to jump into it. But
I was thinking of giving it a go, and then I bought it, and then I realised as I pressed pay, it was already on PlayStation 5. So now it's a gift for my boyfriend who's been playing it. Because I don't have a PlayStation 5 yet.
Damn! But there we are. That's all I've been playing. Oh, by the way, I finished Deathloop. I said that. I got to the end, didn't I? I don't know how long it took me to finish. I started playing it on Friday, and then... I started playing it on Saturday, and then I played a bit on Sunday. I played a little bit on Monday because I was poorly and I didn't want to play anything. And then I've just sort of played it in the evening. So it's not that long. It's sort of about 15 to 20 hours if you just charge through it, because there is a narrative that weaves through it. There is sort of a main plot progression. You're basically trying to work out who these people are that you need to take down in one loop and how to get them in the same place at the same time, because you can only go to one. There are 4 districts, 3 or 4 times of day, and there's like 6 or 7 visionaries that you need to take out, and they're all in separate places at different times.
One day.
So you all need to, so basically you need to go through as many loops as you want to, basically, to find out information and sabotage things at certain times of the day to make sure that this person ends up going to this place at this time. But it's not, you don't have to like make notes or anything yourself. It does track it all for you. But it's, as it all starts to fall into place, it's very satisfying.
Yeah.
Cool.
It's good though. It's a good game. Ends badly.
Well.
It's time for question 2 now.
Time for question 2 now.
Yes. Comes from Cameron Keywood. He says, hello,
Thanks,
Bat.
Cameron.
Hello, Bat.
I call him Mr. Keywood, actually.
Another Black Friday has come and gone. What is the best gaming-related deal purchase you have ever made? I managed to pick up Kana, Lost Judgment, and Back 4 Blood for £67 this year.
Wow, that's not bad.
That's pretty good.
Thanks, Cameron.
Thanks, Mr. Keywood.
Thank you, Cameron Keywood. Question 2.
Don't specifically remember the details of like good deals that I've had over the years. I know that I've found some bargains here and there. One that kind of springs to mind, but as I say, I don't know the details, is that I got my 360 for a really good price, and I think it came bundled with Halo 3 as well. I mean, again, not quite sure, but I just remember thinking like, wow, that's good, especially given this will probably break after 2 years after buying another one. That's a really good price. And also, when I was in 6th form, I had a friend who had a PS2. He just didn't want anymore. And I think mine had just finally conked out after years and years and years. And I was still playing it, although I had a 360 at that time. I would occasionally go back and play some PS2 games or PS1 games on it. And he was like, "Oh, you can buy mine off me if you want." I was going to sell it. I was like, "Oh yeah, fine." So he brought it in like the next day, and he sort of handed it over to me, and then he sort of looked at me and was like, "So what kind of price are you thinking?"
Oh, no.
And I was like, I don't know. What about you? Like, I didn't know this guy that well, but I knew him well enough. He was certainly a friend of a friend. And we just sort of awkwardly, I didn't want to go in too low and offend him. And I also didn't know actually what is the ballpark figure for a pretty old PS2. So he went, 20 quid? And I was like, I can either say yes to that, which seems a good price to me, or he seems to think we're haggling here. So I was like, 15? And he went, yeah.
Okay. All right.
So right. Okay. So
The Art of the Deal by
I
Peter
know.
Austin.
we're both just like really Britishing our way through it. Like, I
couldn't possibly.
thank you
Do you
very
know
much.
what? You can just have it.
Yeah.
Isn't
pretty
it
much.
crazy you used to be able to buy that kind of stuff from your friends for like nothing?
Yeah.
I used to buy Game Boy Colors from people at school for $5.
Yeah.
Because they just didn't want them anymore. It's like, oh yeah, $5. I can buy Malwams and stuff with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I bought that for 15 quid and it still works. It's the one I'm still using. So, and it had like 2 controllers with it as well and some, bits and bobs. So,
Nice.
I think that was actually a pretty good deal.
15 quid.
Yeah.
That's really good.
Ashton.
Well, I haven't haggled any of my friends for a cheap PlayStation, but
My friend gave me a PS2 last Christmas because he had like 5 in his house.
Wow.
Yeah. He was moving house and he just had boxes of old PS2 stuff. He just gave me a PS2. It's great.
fair.
That's the best deal I've ever had.
Yeah.
My dad got a good deal when I gave him a PlayStation 4 for Christmas,
Yeah.
but he didn't seem to know that he got a good deal. He was like, "Oh, thanks." I was like, "I didn't get you a golf game though." He was like, "Oh,
Well, then it's worthless, isn't
Never
it? You got me a
mind.
plastic
I'll get
cube.
myself a golf game then, I guess."
I'll hit this PS2 with my golf clubs.
I managed to get Far Cry 3, 4, and 5 for a tenner on the
Wow.
Steam sale this year.
Wow.
That's good.
Was pretty good. I
haven't
still
even thought
haven't
about
played
Steam.
any of them.
No.
Well, I've half played Far Cry 3, but I haven't finished it yet.
Yeah, I hadn't even thought
Um,
about stuff I bought on Steam, but
yeah.
I must have got some stuff. You
Yeah.
get games for like 99p sometimes, like really good ones.
Yeah. I mean, Steam, there's always some kind of weird sale going on or like some random day where they're like, this game, that's normally £45. It's a tenner this week.
It's free. Take it.
Take
you
it.
idiot.
Do you know what? Have it.
Just go. Just take it and get out of my sight.
Yeah.
We will pay you to play this game.
Yeah, exactly.
Good deal.
But normally, like if it's a game that I want on PC or something, I'll just use like CD keys or
CD keys is excellent.
somewhere to get a good deal on. Because most of the time you can find a cheaper price than what they list it for on Steam and stuff.
BitTorrent, that one? No, don't do that. That's bad.
Couldn't possibly comment on that.
No,
I've never torrented a PC game ever.
No, I haven't. I've never torrented a game in my life.
me neither. Movies and TV shows, however.
Well, we won't talk about that.
I've illegally downloaded editing software in the past as well.
Oh yeah, me too.
Yeah,
I've
especially
been
when I was starting out in this
Me too as
industry,
well.
and I could not possibly
yes,
afford.
starting out. I've very recently
Yeah.
been getting several angry pop-ups from Adobe, and I've finally relented and uninstalled my naughty versions. But
So cheeky.
yeah. I just want to use Audition. That's all I want to use. It's not even the one people like. It's not Premiere or Photoshop. Just leave me alone.
Just let me have one app, please.
But yeah, I mean that's the only like vivid memory like specifics I can think of is Far Cry for a tenner. But there's definitely some games that from like CEX. I think I managed to get Little Nightmares 2 for like £15 in CEX, only like a couple of months or something after it came out.
How much did you get Life is Strange for? The game you're going to play next.
Wow, it was really expensive actually.
Yeah.
I had to give Ben Potter my friendship for like 2 months before I got it.
She's
really
just had to put up with me saying, "Have you played Life is Strange yet? Have you played Life is
Yeah.
Strange yet? Have you played Life is Strange
It's
yet?"
still in my PlayStation. Like I haven't
a
taken it
waste.
out since I like
a
started
waste.
playing
the
other
disc is
games.
inside the console.
Yeah.
So every time you turn it on, it's
It's
just
right
in
there.
It's being
and then
used.
and then I go straight to Far Cry instead.
So you
which
just
is right next to it.
spinning Ben's disc every day.
Yep.
And
It's getting a workout.
yeah,
It's getting a workout.
getting warm.
I'm so close to finishing Life is Strange. I will finish
Have you?
it
I thought
before
you'd
next
only.
week.
I thought you just started it. Didn't realize you'd played much of it.
I'm at like the day 6 or something.
I don't even know what that means.
I've
Been a while.
just figured out what happened to the other girl.
Ah, yes.
Day 1 is the day your grandma learns the controls for going into space.
Oh, yes, of course. So Peter's smiling. He's building something, but I don't know where he's going.
And day 6 is when
It's not
that
day
happens.
1.
No, sorry, it's day 2 your grandma
Day
learns
2,
how to go to space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You've got to learn the controls first. And that's the
course.
feel that ukulele has. Simon Miller.
Thank you, Simon.
2017,
Miller.
2016.
feeling ukulele has.
Yes.
It's been a
Right.
while since we've referenced Simon Miller in the podcast, so
Well, directly, we do a lot of it's okay.
That's okay.
well, that's true. Yeah,
Be positive.
that's a
then.
good point.
Yeah.
Ben,
Hello.
do you have any good dealios that you managed to get?
I sure do. I did one as part of the Black Friday sale on PlayStation a couple of weeks ago. I split my account. I share it with a friend and vice versa, so we can share games with each other, which you're not meant to do, but you definitely can.
It's
And
okay. Me and Ben
They
do that.
don't do anything about it. Cyberpunk 2077 was £20.
Oh.
So I paid a tenner for it.
I think you mean mulled cider punk.
Sorry, what was it?
Mulled-
Checks
Mulled cider
cider.
Check's note.
Mulled cider. Yeah, I paid £20 for mulled cider punk. Split it with my friend, so I only paid a tenner, and I'm not going to play it until the PS5 upgrade is available. But it just feels like when it comes out, they're going to pump that price right back up.
Yeah.
So why not just spend a tenner now?
My
and then I can
Cyberpunk
finally
disc-
play it later.
It's still in its plastic, as it has been since last Christmas when I got it. Waiting patiently for the PS5 upgrade
Yeah.
that may never come, as they have now decided they're working on the DLC and not Cyberpunk
Yeah, they've-
upgrades anymore.
They've said it'll be out at some point next year, so we'll flip him away. But anyway, I feel like a tenner is probably as low as it's going to go
Yeah.
for a very, very long time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was a good purchase.
Good deal.
I think a good deal. I am not sure of any others, but I had one in my brain that I thought of a minute ago. But it's gone.
Sorry, did I talk and it went?
No, I talked and it went.
Oh, okay.
It just went on its own of its own accord. But that's fine because we've got to move on to something a little bit strange.
A little bit peculiar.
A little bit weird news.
It's weird news time. Time for some weird news. First, though, we've got to talk about our podcast producers, the wonderful people who went to patreon.com/Team TripleJump and supported us at a very specific tier. That means they get a shout out right here in the middle of the podcast and they get named as a podcast producer. Peter.
Right here, right now,
Right
we've
here,
got
right now, right here.
Checker the Mega,
Sean Legg,
Trick 24,
Evan Breidenbach,
GY Goliath,
Ellie Nicholas,
Hutcher 10,
Melody A. Bonnet, L. Bonnet. I always say that wrong. Sorry. Melody L. Bonnet,
Harrison Callan,
Dylan,
Gabrielle Philippink,
Adam Dawson.
and Katie Garrett/Jared.
Now do weird news is what it says.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to go on to the next question. We're going to do weird news. Did you know you can submit weird news to us? We do a post earlier in the week on Facebook and Twitter. If you reply in the comments or just reply on Twitter, you can send us weird news and we might choose
Someone
it.
on Facebook was like, do they ever even use news from Facebook?
Yes.
Yeah, I've used
Last
it
week,
before.
I think 2 of us used news
And
from
I've got
Facebook.
one from Facebook right now. Well, this was sent on every possible platform.
Yes, even from a few of our staff as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
This one was initially submitted to me from a young boy by the name of Philip Reed.
Who's
Oh.
that?
Thank you. Hello, Philip. Thank you for
Hello,
sending
you watching at home,
Hello,
Philip?
Philip Reed, aged 9.5.
Yes. It was also sent to us on Twitter and Facebook by Cameron Keywood at Cameron _Keywood
Mr.
on
Keywood.
Twitter,
Mr.
who
Keywood.
Mr. Keywood, who asked a question today. And also Jack Squires via Facebook. So there you go. There you go. Up yours. This is the write-up I've got here. One of many is from purexbox.com. Oh, mate, that is pure Xbox.
That's pure Xbox fam.
Under the category random.
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 Can you tell that they're part of the Nintendo Life and Push Square family?
I think
Random.
maybe. Random. This guy owns 2,706 copies of Sneak King for Xbox 360, and he's trying to get more. Subheading, he's even got a YouTube channel about it.
I think this could have been us
One
if we'd have
each.
kept up our Hanny
Could have been.
Montani.
Yeah, we could have had
Collecting
an
this.
article written about us in the random category.
These guys have 3,000 copies of Hanny Montani and they want more.
And they've even got a YouTube channel about it. This is written by Fraser Gilbert. Remember the Burger King game Sneak King for Xbox 360?
No.
Yes.
It released back in 2006 as a freebie with the purchase of value meals at the fast food restaurant and ended up reportedly selling over 3.2 million copies as a result.
One of the best-selling games of all time.
Yeah. Incredibly,
I want a Burger King.
Redditor No Mercy Video took to the social media platform over the weekend to show off his collection of 2,706, and then in parentheses there's an exclamation mark, copies of the game, which ended up going viral across the web with hundreds of thousands of views. And there is a picture, I'm sure you guys have seen it already, of... Oh, I shouldn't have pressed it. It's opening it in Twitter
I watched
now.
some of his video on his YouTube channel.
Did you?
Really?
Yeah.
You gave him a view.
I did give him a view, yeah.
There it is.
Wow.
You've
a lot.
seen it already.
I hope he's recreated that scene from Breaking Bad where he lies on the money.
Yeah.
I think that if
Sure, that's not
he
really
was
gonna
my
be
partner in life, a life partner, if you will, and this was what was in our one of the rooms in our house.
The Sneak King room.
Yeah. I think I'd have to question myself whether this was worth it.
Well,
I'd say
presumably
it's
if you
me
were-
or the Sneak King.
If you were with that person, you'd be all in. You'd be
the
part of
sneak
it.
queen.
You'd be the Sneak Queen, and you
I
would
could
be
be his
just as
Sneak
excited about
Queen.
finding new copies of Sneak King. As
He's
he
my Sneak King and I'll be his Sneak Queen.
His sneak princess.
That's weirdly sweet.
So what's with the ridiculous collection of Sneak King games? According to the Redditor, it's simply a humorous hobby of his, stating that it had an unusual release through a fast food chain. It's a funny game, and it makes me laugh. And yes, you can keep up with this journey via his YouTube channel called Sneak Kings with a Z, which only has a couple of episodes so far, but is dedicated towards his attempt in trying to collect every copy of Sneak King he possibly can. You gotta love these ridiculous stories. Best of luck to you, Sneak King fan. And then there's a little quote in there as well that says, "If they are worth something someday, we are rich. If they are worth nothing, it's a funny story and journey."
It's a funny story.
So funny.
Already.
Random.
Do you think if he doesn't already, he will one day end up with the copy that we used to have at Vidiot's?
Surely.
Maybe.
It'll find its way to him.
Amazing. My weird news comes from Twitter. Michael Milan at Lord of Penguins, the O's being zeros. And this comes from Nintendo Live,
Oh.
written by Thomas Whitehead. Random! The Steve Aoki X Sonic concert is a weird way to pass an hour. And it definitely is. I watched the first minute and a half and I was like, this is weird. Random, if you will. It's been quite a year for Sonic the Hedgehog, now 30 years old and perhaps losing a step.
It's a good start.
Have you got all your steps? Ashley?
Losing a
Yeah,
step.
but I don't understand what that is. That a phrase?
Losing a step.
Losing a step.
As in, slowing down a bit.
Oh, okay.
Not quite as good as it used to be.
After the big 3 and 0, it's all downhill.
There we are.
Then in square brackets, wait, are you having a midlife crisis, Ed?
The editor.
Close brackets.
Editor.
Having
Oh,
a jab at Thomas.
Why can't they just, whatever. We don't all know how these articles are written.
Just TikTok dance it to me.
I have always thought it's a bit weird when editors put notes inside other people's articles.
Yeah. It's sort of a wink and a nudge. It only ever appears in random articles, usually.
Okay. The Switch iteration of Sonic Colors Ultimate could have certainly been better, but we'd argue that the Sonic 30th Anniversary Symphony was a genuine highlight and delight. It's even on Spotify in all of its glory. For every high, Sonic fans know there has to be a low, depending on tastes, of course. Sega teamed up with Steve Aoki for a crossover concert that you can see at the top of this page. It's basically Aoki doing a normal gig in front of a green screen with some iffy animated Sonic backgrounds.
Nice.
If you watch it natively on YouTube, there is an option to move the camera and it supports VR if you have the gear. Aside from a few little Sonic musical nods, it's mostly Aoki doing his thing, as we've suggested, so take it from that what you will. For our money, the symphony concert, which also had awesome sets by Tomoya Otani Band and Crush 40, is a far better option below for your viewing pleasure. And it says, what will Sega get up to in 5 years for the 35th anniversary? We're both terrified and intrigued by the possibilities. Can I show you a bit of it? Because I want
Yeah.
to show you. I want
Yeah.
to show you Sonic dancing to Steve Aoki.
Okay.
Quality-wise, looks like trash, but
Trash.
we can all.
All right. Wow.
Hello?
It's
Can I have some HD, please?
8K.
Yeah, it's in 8K as well.
Wow.
Okay. Oh, yeah, it's a bit juddery.
Real Juddums.
Okay, we're zooming in. He's 30. Okay.
I don't know what's happening
Yeah,
right
what
now.
is the voiceover relevance?
Oh my god.
Okay. Is this going to get us demonetized?
It might do.
Right, okay. There he is.
Hold on, there he is. He's saying, "Hello everyone, I'm Steve Aoki. Welcome to Sonic."
Yeah.
And then
he's
he's
behind a
he's
DJ
saying,
set.
He goes, "Put your hands
Green Hill
in
Zone.
the air." And then wait, there he is.
There's Sonic.
Sonic's in.
He's standing there.
Does he
He's
dance?
waiting. He does.
He's blinking.
Can you skip ahead a little bit? Will he dance if we skip ahead?
Oh,
Oh, there he goes.
oh my god.
It's rubbish.
He does that. Oh,
He's so cool.
he's so cool.
Look at him go.
He does that for a bit, and then he
just
disappears.
loops.
Yeah,
That is crap.
yeah.
That's
real-
true.
Real crap.
30th anniversary.
Happy
Well
birthday.
done, Sonic.
That's what he deserves.
You made
Yeah.
it. My weird news comes from Johnny Mac at Johnny Mac. You hear that vibrating?
Yeah.
What is that vibrating like?
It's like a train going past.
Johnny Mac 13 on Twitter. This is a news article from PC Gamer. Someone bought a $650,000 NFT yacht for a game that hasn't been released.
For God's sake.
Written by
Every
Ted
time I hear
Litchfield.
the word NFT, I kind of think I lose a year of my life.
What if we took the beloved children's game Minecraft and added the concept of private property? It says. In the latest development of the NFT techno-financial trash fire none of us are allowed to look away from.
Is this Luke Plunkett?
No, it's not.
Oh.
It's not. He's not a PC gamer. It reads like him.
Oh, he's a PC game.
Hypebeast reports that an NFT yacht just sold for $650,000. More precisely, the Metaflower Super Mega Yacht went for 149 WETH, or wrapped Ethereum. Its utility over regular Ethereum eludes me, but crypto people love having multiple barriers of transfers, digital wallets, and withdrawals between the money of the future and the money you can use to pay your rent.
I really like the people saying, if you ever meet a crypto guy, just say, "Oh, so it's like Beanie Babies."
yeah.
'Cause
Bet they
it
love
is
that.
like
That's a good
Beanie
idea.
Babies.
The Metaflower Super Mega Yacht's lucky and anonymous owner will be able to enjoy its completely digital DJ booth, helicopter landing pad, and single hot tub in the Fantasy Islands, a self-described luxury real estate development project of 100 NFT private islands comprised of NFT land. Comprised of NFT land in the sandbox and architecturally unique 3D NFT villas on the Ethereum blockchain.
God, I just lost like 8 years of my life.
Are you still with me?
No.
You're going to wish you weren't. This unimpressive 3D model and attending luxury resort will live in The Sandbox, a blockchain-based, self-described metaverse. Its lo-fi aesthetic and emphasis on user-generated content are strongly reminiscent of Roblox, as is its
No.
cosmetic-centric monetization, but on a vastly different scale. This is NFTs and the blockchain. So instead of little 12-year-olds sneaking their parents' credit cards so they can look like Thanos, it's adults with fully developed brains dropping $16,585 for the female teacher player model, which isn't even one of a kind. Have I mentioned that the sandbox is still in a closed alpha? If nothing else, all of this makes me feel better about buying League of Legends Dunk Master Darius skin for $15 back in 2014. Maybe if the Dunk Master was on the blockchain, I wouldn't have lost him and my other skins when Riot updated their account system in early 2020. I do not mourn their loss. If all goes well, hopefully this stuff will all go down like the Hindenburg without taking the global financial system with it. There
That's
we
a
are.
good write-up. I like
It's a really
that.
good
It's good.
write-up. So yeah, we're going to be hearing about the Sandbox soon, maybe. I don't know. But someone spent 650 grand.
It's lo-fi aesthetic.
Have you
Well,
seen
you mean
it?
it looks like crap?
Have
Yeah, I
you-
have
you've
actually
seen
seen
the,
I
it.
It's
saw
just
the
a blocky.
thumbnail, yeah.
It does look like a Roblox yacht.
It's just got some hard, flat edges all around it. Yeah.
Rubbish.
Wow, I'm so glad we spent money
It's
on this.
so cool.
It's so uncool.
It's so cool.
And
bad for the environment.
it's time for question 3.
Yes, both of those things are true. This is from John O'Parkin. Oh, could just have a slice of Parkin right
penguin.
Like a
now.
penguin.
Hello, Bap. Hope you're all doing well. When it comes to games that have multiple endings, how often do you go back to get the different endings? Love your work. Wishing you big hugs and good vibes. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Johnny.
So there's a couple of things here I would say. If a game lets you just go back to, because sometimes the ending just comes down to what you do on the final level, whether you kill or save the person or whatever, you know. And if the game lets you just go back to the last level and replay it and then just do the other one, then I would just do that straight away just to see. If it doesn't have that option, but it's a game I really like, I would probably be tempted to, I might be tempted to replay that game anyway, irrespective of the fact it's got multiple endings. And then, if I'm replaying it, maybe go for something different. On the other hand, though, take something like BioShock. You can make good versus evil decisions with the little sisters throughout. I just struggle to kill children, in a game. And
I don't. No, I do as well.
even though I literally just complained about how NFTs are virtual and aren't real and nothing matters, for some reason, I'm not very good at doing the evil things in any video game. BioShock's just an example, but Fable as well, something like that. I was like, oh, but I don't want to do that. So I kind of feel like there's some of those endings are a bit harder for me to get than they really should be.
This is a guy who did a rules boss challenge where he had to yeet as many horses in Red Dead Redemption 2 off a cliff as possible within a certain time.
Hey, if someone
and
sets
his
me a
mother
challenge-
did not like
No,
it.
my mum didn't like it. That was a piece of cake, and she was like, "Oh yeah, I saw that video came out. I didn't
Kind of
like it."
glad Vidiot's is ending, to be honest.
She pretty much may as well have said that. Yeah. So
I don't like hurting animals in games. I hate that games make me kill so many dogs.
Far Cry makes
So
you kill
many
animals all the
yeah,
time.
killing dogs. is pretty rough.
I don't understand. I understand, dogs are a really useful tool for warfare and stuff. But so many games make me kill dogs and then make the dog make a sad noise when I've killed
Yeah.
it. And I'm like, why did you do that?
Last was part 2, and
Last
then they're
of Us
going
did so
dog
much.
Bucky, no.
No.
My dog!
I was
Jesus.
thinking of Last of Us as well. It makes me so mad. Can we just stop making me kill dogs in games, please? I'd
yeah.
literally rather kill children than dogs.
Oh my god.
Wow. I mean,
That's not true.
I'd rather kill dogs than
I
children.
would just rather not have to kill either of them.
Okay. So yeah, I'm not always good at getting the evil endings in
Okay.
games for such reasons. So sometimes if I'm not too bothered, I might just look up the ending on YouTube. I might just be like, I'm not going to play it all the way through again. I'll just find out what it is. And then on the other hand, some games have a special ending as an incentive to play the really hard mode. And I did that. That's the main reason I played Halo 1 all the way through on Legendary, because I heard there was some kind of extra cutscene at the end, and I didn't know what it was. I probably could have found out very easily, but I was like, no, not gonna look it up.
No.
And oh boy, it's very silly. It's just a human soldier and an elite soldier sort of wrestling with each other, and then the big world-ending explosion that you've just caused is happening in the distance, and they both just look over the horizon.
And then they start making out hardcore.
They hug each other.
Oh, okay.
One of them says, "This is it, baby, hold me," and then they
Seriously?
they grab each
that's
other.
That's the words.
Yeah, and then as it zooms out, one of them, I can't remember which one, his hands go from the guy's back down to his ass.
Oh, fantastic.
Then it fades
That's
out.
great.
Played it all the way through.
That's
Really
really
hard
funny.
game, and then you just see them going, "Oh, I'll get you," and then they go, "Oh," and you just see this explosion, and then a little bit of bump.
Bungie
cuppage.
just flips you off.
Yeah.
Like, ha, idiot.
I thought it was great. I
Wasted
didn't know
your
what to
time.
expect. I didn't have high expectations either. Like, oh, what if we're going to see Chief's face or something? Like, there was no. I didn't know what it would be. I was like, it could be anything, and then it was that, and I was like, yes, correct.
Nice.
That was the right choice.
Yeah. Ashton.
I very, very rarely will go back and get a separate ending. I don't think I can think of any example, like any games where I've played to get a second ending or the other ending. Outer Worlds, I played and I got the ending that I got, and I know that there's like so many other endings that you can get in Outer Worlds. Didn't bother.
Who cares?
Because I was like, I got my ending. I kind of like that games, they're my natural instinct. I kind of just play games however I don't go in with like, I'm going to be evil or I'm going to do this. I just play it how I think the game should play. And I kind of like the, when will you learn? Your actions have consequences situation where like, this is how my game ended because this is how I played it and these are the decisions that I instinctively made. I kind of just like that, and I don't really feel like I need to see the other endings because I got the ending that
is you.
deserved.
Yeah, your choice.
But I mean, I watched Ben play Outer Worlds again and get a separate ending. I think he actually got 2 other endings to the one that I got because I just killed everyone, just went in, everyone's dead, I win. But yeah, I don't think I don't really care about other endings once I've got mine. And also most time when I finish a game, it then leaves my brain and I don't think about it anymore because I got the ending that I got. So
Already won.
Is it Nier that's got like 12 endings?
It's got enough. It's got enough endings. Nier Automata's got enough endings to fill every letter in the alphabet.
Yeah. Some
26.
of them are really, really short ones.
Yeah.
Though. Like you fell off a cliff and you get like a weird little text ending.
Yeah.
Like, we never found out what happened because 2B fell off a cliff.
Yeah.
And that's it. But some of them are proper endings that then lead into different playthroughs and stuff.
Yeah.
I also always forget to like do quick saves and save before I go into like a battle to make a decision or save at different points where there is a decision that needs to be made. Normally I'll just forget and just carry on with what I'm doing. So I can't just go back to that one point without restarting the whole game. So I'm not very tactful when it comes to playing games. Just go all the way through it, save as I go, and see what happens.
Yeah. Fair enough.
But you, Ben, do you get other endings?
I'm very much the same as Peter, where if it's a case of reloading a final chapter, I'll do that. Or if it's a case of having to save scrub to do it, then I'll do that too. Like, particularly in Soulsborne games, there'll often be a choice that comes right at the end. And if you do it, traditionally when you finish those games, they immediately start the next game. So you go right into New Game Plus. As soon as the credits roll, you just wake up with your character and the world's harder. So I have saved there, uploaded my save, finished the game, downloaded it, got the other ending, and so on. If there are trophies involved and I'm going for the platinum, I will naturally play through as many times as necessary to see all the different endings. But more often than not, I'll watch them on YouTube. So Deathloop, for example, I got one unsatisfying ending and I was like, what? And then it doesn't just end. Well, it does end, but as in it puts you back in the game so you can keep playing.
Right.
And so I ran through the perfect final day again, taking everybody out. And then I made a different choice, which was similarly not incredible. At which point I was like, okay, I've seen all the endings that I can be asked to see. And then I looked it up online. And it turns out that was sort of it. But, you know, certain games I'm happy to just look up the other endings online if I've finished it, you know, especially if it requires an entire other playthrough or whatever, as is the case with BioShock and things like that. So, but that's pretty much it. I think multiple endings are a really cool idea, but sometimes they're far less accessible than they should be. I do like challenge-based ones like Halo, but you know, if it's like BioShock and you've made a choice as you're going through, and there's an entirely different ending, I would love to see that, but I'm not playing through the whole thing again. I'm not doing that again. But there we are. There's my answer. It's time, everybody, for something rather large. It is called
The Big Discussion.
It's big discussion time. Time for the big discussion. This week's big discussion comes courtesy of Nick Mellish, who asks, how much do you think fan feedback really hits sales? A lot of people kicked off about Pokemon Sword and Shield, but it still sold extremely well. Should companies listen to fans more, or is fandom a smaller audience than it feels it is?
Thank you, Nick. Good question. Good. Insightful point at the end, actually. I think that's it's a good... You know, is fandom a smaller audience than it feels it is? I think that's true. I think people. The problem is people are in their own little echo chambers, And, if you're, say, following a topic on Twitter where you always get sent the latest tweets on a certain thing, you tend to see people saying probably all sort of the same things, or maybe you're in a very divisive fandom where actually people are arguing all the time. But either way, it's like a group of very passionate people who have opinions on whether that thing should have happened or this design choice or whatever. But it can be easy then to forget that in the wider gaming sphere, there are people who just sort of buy, oh, that game looks good. They've never played one in the series before. Or they might just buy something for its multiplayer and they don't care about the story mode, that even if you're complaining about a decision that's been made. And I think actually, I don't even want to think about it that much, but beyond video game design choices, you've got things like workplace practices. I think that Activision, sadly, aren't going to feel as many repercussions as they should, because a lot of people won't be clued into what's going on, and they'll be buying the likes of Call of Duty because they think oh yeah, the next Call of Duty's out. They don't know what's going on at Activision.
No, that's why the lawsuit is the most promising part of it, is that they stand to
That's
really
the thing.
lose a lot of money.
I think, to be fair, Activision might be one case in point that maybe actually there will be some fairly major repercussions just because of the scale of the issue at this point. But something like Ubisoft, perhaps, where they're not really facing huge problems, but people who are privy to what's going on are saying, well, that's terrible, you should really sort your workplace out. But again, in the wider gaming sphere, there'll be people who like Assassin's Creed or whatever will be saying, oh, great, there's a new Assassin's Creed coming out or something like that. And, they'll just be buying it and playing it. So I think that can really affect things in terms of fans feeling like, well, everyone's been complaining about this issue, whether it's a design choice or it's people talking about malpractice, wondering why things aren't happening. And it's because money talks. And if, broadly speaking, the wider gaming audience is continuing to buy something because they're not perhaps as passionate or, as nitpicky as you are about maybe, something that's happened in Pokemon or Battlefield or Far Cry, then you do have to wonder to what extent it's going to affect future games. And it can be frustrating, I guess, as a big fan of anything, whether it's video games or movies or TV shows or books or, whatever it is. It can be difficult because you feel like, no, but we're the people who really care. We're the most passionate. And actually, in some ways,
5% of the
you're the minority,
base.
Which is, it almost seems like a kind of a paradox or the wrong way around. But it's difficult being in that position, I think.
Yeah, I mean, just from the example that Nick gave, I didn't know anyone kicked off about Pokemon Sword and Shield.
I did, really.
I didn't know
I
there
was
any
aware
issue
that
with it.
core fans were unhappy, which very quickly, not to cut you off, Ashton.
That's okay. No, I appreciate
which
it.
sort of tied back into, I think, the sentiment that we saw a lot last year. I want to say last year, the last 2 years. I don't even know which was which. But with the Pokemon cards and the Happy Meals and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Where while there are adult Pokemon fans, I think a lot of adult Pokemon fans lose sight of the fact that Pokemon is for kids.
Yeah.
And so with each new release
the
that
cards that people were
fails
like,
to be sort of an more, I don't know, all-encompassing, adult-focused RPG Pokemon experience, people get more and more frustrated with it. And that was felt far more, I think, with Sword and Shield than anyone else. I bounced off it, but I bounced off loads of Pokemon games recently. I'm not a huge fan of contemporary Pokemon.
That's what I see as a Star Wars fan all the time. Like people complaining that, like, oh, why did that thing happen? It's like, no, it's for children. It is essentially, or it was originally, it was written for kids, and now whether it's George Lucas or Disney, they're struggling to balance the fact that there's all these adults.
Doesn't mean you
talking
can't
about
criticize things, obviously, and you can't be passionate about things. But I think there's more and more of a disconnect, certainly with Pokemon, between people who've been fans since they were kids and kids who are fans now.
Yeah.
So that was part
a lot
of the
of
problem,
people
I
to
think.
please all in one go.
Yeah.
Well, that's kind of what I wrote, is that there's lots of like younger fans now that don't necessarily have these preconceived ideas of what these games should be / are not in tune to everything, like you say, on Twitter and Reddit and everything, because either they're not old enough or they're in part of the generation that don't care about Twitter and Reddit. Like they're too young, hip and cool, and they don't care about what everyone's saying on Twitter and Reddit. I think there is the vocal minority that are on Twitter and Reddit. But then let me go back a bit. I think that fan feedback does affect sales, but whether I think that companies should listen to fans more, don't know.
Because some of it's really toxic.
Exactly. Some of the most vocal fans, or the ones that you hear the most, are people that don't necessarily reflect everyone's idea of what the game should be. You know, if it's got a female, for example, Horizon Zero Dawn, I know that people weren't necessarily fans, but they are gamers. So they were, why isn't Aloy more feminine? Why is she so masculine? I don't understand why you know, why not make her pretty?
Last of Us Part 2
Last
is a
of
big
Us
one.
Part 2 as well. You know, there is always going to be people who don't like things, and those people who don't like things are people who's going to be more vocal about it than people who do like things. I could tweet, be like, oh, I really am enjoying Far Cry 6, having a great time. Thanks. And then someone's going to be like, Far Cry 6 is the worst game I've ever played. I hate it. Everything about it sucks. And the fact that it's a female protagonist, oh, I'm so angry. And it's just like, okay, cool. That tweet's probably going to have more people interacting with it, because that's probably going to have people going like, well, actually, I kind of enjoyed the game. And everyone being like, no, you're stupid. So it's kind of this back and forth of like, obviously, there's always going to be people who are very loudly not happy and people who are very loudly happy, but there's always going to be one that outweighs the other. So whether they should listen to fans is difficult, because I think that it's hard to pinpoint exactly what the fans are thinking, because there's so many vocal people on kind of more on the negative side than on the positive side. And I'm not saying that's not always justified. Sometimes games don't work. Like Cyberpunk did deserve some of the fan feedback that was negative because the game did not work. And that is something that obviously we can go, well, that fan feedback was correct, but not every game has that fan feedback that is correct.
Cyberpunk.
Sorry, yeah, Mold Cyberpunk.
Yes.
But I also think that some games / companies don't care about what their fans think, and they kind of live in an echo chamber of, oh, the fans really like this game, because those core group of fans really like this game.
Yeah.
Therefore, this game's a 10 out of 10. And again, that is, not every company, but some definitely do go, they really enjoy it, so the game's fab. No changes need to be made. Let's just do that again. And it is hard to kind of figure out what is the truth about a game.
Yeah, it can work out the opposite way. So, like, whether it's, you know, fans saying, oh, Pokemon Sword and Shield's rubbish, but then maybe the wider gaming audience is like, oh, it's good, I'm enjoying this. I'm a child and I like it.
Yeah.
Or, as you say, it could be the other way around, where maybe a new game comes out, most people are like, what the hell is this? This is terrible. But the developer or the publisher is perhaps focusing on like this core group that's going, yeah, more of this. So yeah, it can work both ways.
But I don't know how much fan feedback affects sales, really. I mean, it affected Cyberpunk, but only after everyone had already bought it / asked for it for Christmas. But I don't know how much it genuinely actually affects sales, fan feedback. But I think there's nothing that really can affect sales anymore. I think that everyone's got their own individual like
proclivities,
sounding board and proclivities. So my Twitter's completely different to your Twitter, I imagine, and you will hear different things than what I hear. So what's to stop me from buying a game? Well, on my feed, everyone says it's good. Well, on your feed, everyone says it's bad. Every individual has such an individual like response to the internet and to the content that's online. So every individual is going to make their own decisions, and that's why I don't think necessarily fan feedback will affect sales very much for most games.
Yeah. I mean, the answer to the question, do you think fan feedback really hits sales? It doesn't. No, I don't think it does ultimately, because as both of you have pointed out, we're in a bubble of a tiny minority of core players who are plugged into the industry, you know, who keep up with what's going on, who know what game development is and how it works. We are such a small minority of people who end up buying games, most games anyway, that while our opinions do matter and they should be voiced, especially if there are problems with a game, developers and publishers don't have to listen to it. Thing is, they often do, but it's in the form of an apology or a promise to patch things. Like if we move Pokemon Sword and Shield to one side, I think we can all agree that it's a fine game, regardless of whether or not you like it. We talk about Cyberpunk, which did sell an obscene amount of copies. As you pointed out, most of them from pre-orders, and probably most of them from people who didn't know better. But a lot of people got burned because people didn't know what this game was going to be like until it came out, because they were very, very sneaky and they deliberately didn't show things. You know, they didn't show it running on last gen. They had a very, very controlled hands-on session with press. So a lot of people didn't know. Sold a disgusting amount of copies. They knew exactly the condition that game was in when they decided to make it go gold. Same with GTA Trilogy. They knew what that game was like. There's no way either of those games got through QA at all, like full stop. They decided to push those out. And they knew that the only people who would buy it day one are the core players, the people who knew it was coming, the people who were excited for it, the people who they could get away with selling it to, and then immediately, because there's no way, again, there's no way they didn't know that they were going to immediately apologize and then think, well, we're just going to spend the next 2 months patching it on the lead up to Christmas anyway. That seems to be the philosophy of a lot of studios now, is that, no, the game's not ready, but we'll just release it. We'll sell it to the idiots, the people who are going to buy it, which is us. And then we'll just patch it until we'll say we're sorry, and then we'll patch it. Certainly in the case of a Star Wars Battlefront 2, where government agencies are involved and it's making sort of headline news in mainstream non-gaming publications, then you got a real problem. That's very different. And at that point, developers and publishers aren't listening to their fans. They're listening to outside pressure. Because their shareholders, who probably don't play games, are saying, why am I on Fox News? Why am I, in newspapers? Why is our game being talked about like this? And so on. So they should listen to fans, but the apologies and the patches seemingly are just part of the strategy now. They're just part and parcel, and they're accepted. But the casual players, the kids, they don't know the difference. They're not stupid, but they're not as privy as we are to how the industry works. So their voices, if they are to be heard, usually probably just aren't even voiced. Because they wouldn't even know where to direct that kind of stuff, apart from angry, poorly worded comments on Facebook, which you do see quite often.
As far as a publisher is concerned, the question isn't, does fan feedback affect sales? It's like, do sales affect future games? That's how you have to vote with your wallet. You can't just say, this game was bad, you should do better, and expect them to do better. You have to say that and hopefully not have bought the game already, or not continue to support it via microtransactions or whatever it is. The way that these companies make decisions is whether it did the sales and made the money, not whether people say this is good or bad, but hey, I actually made a load of money anyway. They'll just do more of it. That's how it works. Yeah.
If they release Far Cry 6 and it sells 7 million copies, but review scores are sort of in the mid-70s on average, well, that would definitely affect a game that's perhaps a 1 million or less seller. They just know that
it already.
6 million people bought this, so do that again. It's what Call of Duty does. It's definitely what Ubisoft does with a lot of their franchises. But yeah, are you cold?
Yeah.
It is getting a bit chilly.
It is really so flipping cold in here. So we'll wrap that up there unless anybody else has anything to say. But I think we're all in agreement that fandoms are very small in the grand scheme of things. And while developers and certainly, I'd say, press officers and PR people do put a lot of effort into communicating directly with communities and engaging with them and doing things for them, ultimately that's just a small part of the strategy to almost placate that audience, and everybody else will just buy whatever's there because it's got Pokemon on the box, because it's got Far Cry on the box or whatever. But
yeah, pretty much.
There we are.
Yeah.
Of course, let us know what you think in the comments and on various places around the internet. Peter's going to tell you a few of them right now.
Hello. We're Team Triple Jump. YouTube.com/Team Triple Jump and Twitch.tv/Team Triple Jump. It's where we stream in both places. And of course, we put videos out on YouTube. When we're streaming on Twitch, you can, perhaps if you've got Amazon Prime, you could subscribe to us via Amazon Prime, Twitch Prime thing. It doesn't cost you anything extra. And
Jeffrey Bezos' special sauce.
Yeah. And streams on both of those platforms are modded by Lord Brotovich, Trialing Badger, and Mr. Black. Thank you, mods.
Thank you.
Twitter.com and Facebook.com/Team Triple Jump is where you can go for all of our social media presence. I don't like the way you're looking at me, Ashton.
I'm just listening.
No,
Sorry.
I just thought you were looking at me like I'd missed something. And
I
really threw me off.
Sorry, I can look away.
No, you can look at me, but you just sort of went.
Just stare down the camera.
And I thought you were trying to catch my eye and
No,
say,
sorry, I was just
you forgot
listening.
to say about
No,
Jeff Bezos.
I was just listening.
Okay, you can look at me, it's fine.
No, I just stare down the camera.
Right, okay. We have video and live stream announcements and the like over on Twitter, and we've got some legacy video content on Facebook and the weird news posts and things like that. Fraser, thank you for looking after social media for us. Patreon.com/Team Triple Jump is where you can go for our Patreon to look at all of the different tiers, including asking questions on this podcast and getting access to the other podcast as well. Ashton?
Thank you, Peter. We have a website. It's TripleJ.mup. That's TripleJU.mp. Spells jump. If you want to join our Discord, where all of our lovely community hang out and talk to each other, it's a grand old time. You can go to TripleJ.mup/Discord. On Discord, been modded by Jack, Joe, Tori, and Hollow Eyes. And if they tell you to do something, do it. They can listen to our podcast in all of its audio forms. Maybe you really like Spotify and you've been listening to our podcast a lot, and we're your number one podcast in your Spotify Wrapped. Tag us in that on Twitter and we'll give you a like. But if you want to find out where you can listen to it, you can go to TripleJ.mup/ I've just bonked the mic again, /podcast. All of our live stream VODs, there's lots of live streams per week. We all do one on our own and we do one together. And if you miss it, you can go to TripleJ.mup/ VODs and watch back all the streams. And last but not least, if you want to buy our sick and cool merch, like this.
Do you
have one on?
You
can't buy this.
Can't buy that anymore.
You can go to TripleJumpShop.com and check out our new merch. We should be releasing some new merch very, very soon.
Really soon. Final designs approved. So
Yeah.
hopefully.
Might have dropped already, but probably not.
Oh, God,
Maybe
that'd be nice.
We were
That'd
saying
be
earlier this
flipping
week
nice.
that I think we would have done it today or tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to.
If we were
recording.
ready, yeah. but
Potentially maybe next
Probably
early
this
this
week
week.
coming.
real soon. So if you're still looking for Christmas presents.
Yeah. And if you want to find out when it gets released, make sure you're following Triple Jump Shop on Twitter.
Yeah.
That's where all of the merch information is.
Why not follow Peter and Ashton on Instagram and Twitter at that Peter Austin and at Scrambled Ashton. Myself just on Twitter at confused_dude. We do lists every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Streams every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Thursday being the joint stream
Blaze it.
on YouTube. The rest of the streams being solo streams on Twitch. Worst Games Ever is fortnightly Friday for patrons of a certain tier, Sunday for everyone else. The podcast is every Saturday, and we do shows all the time. We do shows all the time.
Basically
I don't
all
know
the
why
time.
it's there.
Whenever you like.
Leave a review on iTunes. 5 stars, please. 5 stars, please. Or your platform of choice. It helps something to do with Al Gore's rhythms. Go follow our Facebook page.
Do it.
Do it.
Facebook.com/Team Triple Jump. 10,000 likes, please, 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 please. It's all we want for Christmas, and then
We're over
potentially the
halfway
new
there
year
now.
if we're not there.
We're
What did we
well
do
over
yesterday?
halfway.
Well over halfway.
We opened the tat so much.
All of
We
it.
recorded for about 6
6
hours. And we.
There is so many things in our streaming
We
room
need to
right
go
now.
sort
It's a
it now.
pile of just we finished. We were like, we'll deal with this tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's 7 p.m.
Yeah, we got loads of worst games, which is good. We got loads of eatable things and less eatable
So
things.
many
Eaties.
eatable
And we
things.
ate them, and we all three of us felt kind of sick by the end.
Yes, that's true.
I was walking home and I felt fluttery. It was
Mm.
very strange. Yeah.
Yeah.
Really odd.
It's full of sugar.
Episode 6 of After Dark. Let's try that again. Episode 6 of After Dark is available for patrons now. If you want to go check out our thoughts on various things that aren't video game related, you can go check that out.
It's a quality podcast.
It is a quality podcast, yes. And I believe that's all for now. Thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. We'll be back next week. I don't know how many weeks we got left before Christmas.
About
Let's see.
3,
So we
Yeah,
got
something
a
like
podcast this week. We'll have a podcast next week, and then the podcast the
Be on
week
Christmas
after,
Day.
the 18th of the well, I don't know if we'll be doing one for the 25th. We could do,
Okay.
maybe we will.
Maybe
We'll
do
see.
we'll do a
Find
double
out.
we'll do a double bill maybe and record 2 podcasts in one.
We'll make it clear in the Patreon post when we're doing our Christmas specific episode. So if you have any Christmas related gaming questions, that will be the time for them. Please hold them until then. Ashton, who are we sponsored by?
We're sponsored by Mulled Cider Punk, AC Vodkala, Doom Bar, Ratchet and Clink, all part of the PlayStation end of beer sale.
Fantastic. Take care of yourselves, everyone. We'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I probably could have been a lot better parent.